Now, economy and trade and people-to-people and cultural exchanges are two complementary aspects of China-Africa cooperation, just like two wheels of the same cart. We will continue to expand trade and investment cooperation with Africa, strengthen exchanges in people-to-people and cultural exchanges, deepen science, technology, education, culture, media, and sports cooperation, expand women and youth interactions, strengthen cooperation in maintaining peace and security, and fighting terrorism, and promote interchanges between parliaments, political parties, social groups, think tanks, and non-governmental agencies, so that our two great civilizations will add color to each other through mutual interaction and mutual learning. I'm sure our relationship, driven by the two wheels of economy and trade on the one hand and cultural on the other, will move China-Africa cooperation onto a fast track and move steady and further. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about China-Africa cooperation, I cannot but say a few words about the current state and the future trend of China's economy. Over the past 30 more years, the Chinese economy has experienced rapid growth, and its total economic aggregate ranks in the second place in the world, but is still the largest developing country with a per capita GDP of just over $6,000, still below the world's average. There are considerable development gaps between urban and rural areas and among different regions. And evidently, China is still a developing country. For example, there are over 700 million rural residents in China whose net income is just $1,400, and among them, more than 200 million still live under the poverty line defined by the World Bank. Another example, over 60% of China's population live in the central, western, and northeastern regions of China. Their per capita GDP is less than half that of the coastal region. So, to realize modernization is still a long way ahead for China. This said, we have the same destiny with African countries. The Chinese people is ready to work with the African people to pursue common development. With rather strong overall national strength, we are ready to provide generous assistance to our good friends. In 2013, China's economic growth reached 7.7%, and in the first quarter of this year, 7.4%. Both comparing with the past and on a global scale, it is medium to high-speed growth rate. So China's economy might have slowed down compared to the past. This is a fact, an objective fact, because China's economy has reached over $9 trillion in total. An increase at around 7.5% will generate an increment of about $700 billion. Roughly, it means every year we will increase the size of a middle developed economy. China still has the capacity and a solid basis for sustained development. The development gap between urban and rural areas and among regions also entails potential. It shows that China's economy promises huge development space and room for maneuver. For many years in the past, China's economy has registered a double-digit growth. Now it is shifting gear. And the important reason for this is that we are paying more attention to the quality and the performance of growth, so that our growth is more inclusive, more sustainable. We will continue to rely on reform, which is an inexhaustible driving force. China owes its high-speed growth in the past to reform, and we will continue to rely on reform for future high-quality development. This will fire the great market vitality, the ingenuity and creation of our hundreds of millions of people. Structural adjustment will benefit both the current generation and improve industrial structure, advance people-centered urbanization, and phased development from coastal to inland provinces. And this will generate economic growth in a wider scale. To improve people's livelihood is crucial to expanding consumption and domestic demand. We will deepen the reform of income distribution system, enlarge the middle income group, build a social safety net, and generate the consumption of the 1.3 billion people, promote social progress and development, and this will add greater impetus of the Chinese economy in the long run. The development in China today is based on more employment, focuses on balanced development, stresses equality and fairness, and prioritizes people's livelihood, as well as social progress. This is exactly what inclusive growth is about. We have the confidence and the capability to meet the target of around 7.5% for the whole year and keep medium to high-speed growth like this in the long run. This is good news for African countries as well as for the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria and many other developing countries, especially those in Africa, what they have experienced shows a bright prospect of Africa as a whole. Standing here and now, when we cast our eyes over the whole continent, we see not just the majestic Nile River, the magnificent Kilimanjaro mountain, and the vast Sahara Desert, but also a land full of hope and promise. We have a saying in China, when united with one in heart and mind, success is secured. We are ready to forge ahead with the African countries, treat each other with sincerity and equality, and jointly scale new heights and realize economic takeoff for African development and make even greater contribution to world peace, prosperity, and progress. To conclude, I wish the summit a full success. Thank you.